Okay, so today we're going to have a little bit of a chat about the battle packs in Battlefield 1. Now, I've got a good friend here, Lachlan, or the Tactical Brit as you might know him. In fact, what name do you want to go by?
I'll go with the Tactical Brit.
Okay, we'll go with the Tactical Brit. Now, he made a really cool video a couple of weeks ago about some improvements to the Battle Pack system that could happen in Battlefield 1, and I thought the video was really, really good. So I wanted to bring him onto the channel today so we could talk about that a little bit and maybe expand a little bit more, because I think there's a really good conversation going on at the moment about how the system's really not kind of what it should be and maybe how it could be improved overall. So, first of all, why don't you explain what... I think one of your biggest ideas was to try and utilize the scrap system a little bit more, is that right?
Yeah, so eventually at the moment we kind of have a sort of scrap system in Battlefield 1 that doesn't really do much beyond giving you the option to maybe get a battle pack every once in a while. And a good sort of comparison I made was with Rainbow Six Siege, which used a renown system, which is quite similar. It's a currency in-game that can be earned through playing matches, which will eventually get you skins. And I thought, you know, why can't we do something relatively similar in Battlefield 1 and allow players to earn scraps via the games they play and let them buy battle packs through that kind of avenue as well too.
Yeah, and that's the sort of premise of what we were going on, and that was really what set me off. I was like, so we have this in-game currency, but technically the only way to get access to that is that you have to literally give up what's in your battle packs. And for me, that didn't make much sense, because you've already got the XP system, and then you've got the battle packs as well, and then scraps kind of sat alone as not really doing anything. So when I heard your idea, I genuinely sort of opened my eyes. I was like, actually, that's a really, really good idea. And then we wanted to go a little bit further maybe on that. I don't know what your idea was regarding beyond scraps, so maybe doing sort of in-game activities to get some, or like daily challenges and things like that. I mean, what would your viewpoint be? And I'm just opening this up here to you and everyone in the comments, really. What would your opinion be if scraps were made sort of a real-life viable thing where you could pay real money to get scraps?
I think scraps is definitely an option as a viable thing. I think it has to work hand in hand with like an in-game currency system though. So, you know, drawing the comparison again with Rainbow Six is, at the moment, what happens is you have renown, and every game you play, you get a certain amount of renown. And this is based on whether or not you win the match, your performance personally in-game, and you can get sort of in and around the region of about 300 renown. Now, obviously, we wouldn't have 300 scraps because that would be a battle pack like literally every single game, but you know, even if it's just something like 20 or 30, and people who have like season passes in Rainbow Six, so the equivalent of premium in Battlefield 1, get a slight increased percentage as well, so they get slightly more renown per game, which is a really good incentive. But what it allows people to do is it allows people to get battle packs based off of experience and just, you know, genuinely playing quite well. And allowing that kind of avenue to open up also means that there will be players who will say, actually, you know what, I really want that Revision something skin, the Revision 1, 2 or 3 skin, so I'm gonna, you know, pay a bit extra in scraps and see if I can get a really good battle pack to do so. And it just really kind of broadens the scope of the currency system that could potentially happen in game. And what happens as well is that you can accept challenges in Rainbow Six Siege to allow you to get more. So it's like, get a certain amount of headshots, do this, do that. And we already have the medal system in Battlefield 1, which is, you know, allowing you to track certain challenges itself. So imagine if you could sort of get like, I don't know, a couple of scraps from completing sort of like a Crown of Frederick medal where you have to focus on operations. It could work out in a really broad sense that would make playing the game from match to match a bit more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. I mean, the battle pack system in the past was always looked a little bit sort of like a throwaway thing, really. I mean, in Battlefield 4, it became a running joke, really. You used to just get everything in your battle pack, so every time you opened one up, you knew you were going to get some sights, some attachments, and some random stuff. And after you opened a few, you didn't really care anymore. Because you could unlock those things. Some of them would come along sort of during your rank, and then the stuff you get in the battle packs would be stuff you could only get in there, but sometimes you didn't really care about it anyway. So in Battlefield 1, I definitely think they've gone in the right direction in making them feel a lot more valuable, but I agree with you that they could utilize the system they've built a hell of a lot better than what they're doing already. Now, another question I wanted to pitch to you, actually. The Battle Pack system as it stands. Now, we know it's random, and I think a lot of people don't really like that at the moment. I mean, first of all, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think the big problem with the Battle Pack system right now is, as sort of general Battlefield players, when you go into a match and you perform well, you kind of want to feel like you've got something from that. Sure, you get XP, which will eventually give you class ranks and things like that, but, you know, when we've got a good cosmetic system in-game, I think the general consensus is that if you're invested into a game where you play it for a long time, you want to look as badass as possible. You want those legendary skins, you know, you want to look good as you're playing it. And, you know, just kind of jumping into a game, feeling like you've got the weight of your team on your back to not really get anything out of it is really bad. And, you know, as a quick example, a friend of mine who I play with sometimes on PS4, he didn't get his first battle pack till rank 24.
Wow.
That's like, you know, I mean, 24 ranks are just sitting there like, please, end of round screen.
Give me something.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me feel bad that I was saying, like, Dice, please give me a good skin. He didn't even get a battle pack until probably about 20 hours into the game.
I think his first battle pack was Revision 2. He didn't even
Oh
see
my
Revision
God,
1
no way.
happen. Yeah, it's... I mean, you know, you want to be rewarded, right? You know, that's just a sort of fundamental of a game. You get rewarded for doing well, or you get rewarded just in general for, you know, playing. And I think random is fair to an extent, but I think, you know, sort of like the top certain amount of players, you'd like to give them something to say, you know what, great job, grind out the next match to keep PTFOing.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing. I pitched it the other day to a couple of people on Twitter as like, I think MVP 1, 2, and 3 on every team, so whether you're the winner or the loser, should get a battle pack. So, you know, 1, 2, and 3 of each team. That was my opinion. And then anyone on the end of round screen, like the top healer, top reviver, person who got the highest squad score or whatever, those are really good things that you've done during the game, right? You've genuinely helped your team by doing those actions. So if you're on the end of round screen, why don't you get a battle pack for being one of the best players in the server? I mean, it didn't make any sense to me.
And one thing I really like, you know, with the medal system is that it incentivizes different kinds of play, because you really want to get that quick XP. So if we were incentivizing, you know, team play, best healer, best reviver, best capture flag, best flag defend, you know, imagine the kind of sort of change or shift in dynamic that would have in game for the serious players who want to get lots of skins, you know. They'll be so focused on doing certain things, like, you know, maybe they are in the medic class and maybe they're just running around reviving people in the best possible situations, and it just will enrich gameplay experience on the field by giving players what they want sort of at the end of rounds. And I think, you know, there is room for some kind of level of randomness, because, you know, we don't want, you know, the kind of elite top players to be just absolutely swimming in battle packs every couple of games. And, you know, like, I feel as well with the scrap system, if we did implement that as an in-game currency that could work, it would also say, well, you know what, you didn't get the most amount of points this game, but you still got, you know, 20, 30 scraps that you can contribute towards your next battle pack, so, you know, keep on playing, you can do this, you know? And it does create the grind sense. I remember there was this one time in Siege where I really wanted this sort of, I think it was a crystal encrusted skin. It was super flashy, maybe a little bit on the Call of Duty side of things, but I really wanted this skin, so I ended up playing the game for like a whole weekend, grinding out double XP and grinding out double renown to try and get this thing. And, you know, another way to look at that is we could do double scrap events, we could do things like that, just to pump the gameplay up a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing. I mean, the battle pack system in itself could go anywhere. I mean, it's a case that you randomly open and you get something in the game. It doesn't just have to be weapon skins. I mean, like, a lot of the characters in the game have, like, different camouflages on their helmets and stuff like that. I mean, you could go down that route where it's like, okay, this weekend we're going to do a double XP weekend, double scraps. Oh, and by the way, there's a chance that you could get a battle pack if you get enough scraps that will give you a unique in-game like item where the helmet changes color on certain characters. I mean, that for me would be a really cool draw to go and play the game that weekend and be like, right, I'm going to go and grind out Conquest or whatever, or Operations, whatever the objective happens to be, and I'm going to really try and get that item. And like you were saying, it just creates this drawback towards the game where it might be waning a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is with Battlefield, we've always, like, as a franchise and series, had good retention time. There'll be people playing Battlefield 4 right now as we're speaking with no problems whatsoever. And I think, you know, when you're getting lots of new players on with Battlefield 1 as it did. You know, it's like double the player base already for Battlefield 4 and Hardline. So, you know, when you're getting all these new players on who are looking for reasons to keep coming back, what if you saw on the Battlefield Twitter page, oh, this weekend exclusive skin related to certain events, I don't know, like a Christmas skin or some kind of January themed skin, anything in particular, a certain event that's going on in the world could be sort of thrown out there and put into battle packs as some kind of skin for you to unlock. I remember, for example, there's a Luck of the Irish skin on the sort of Rainbow Six game, and you had to complete like an Irish related challenge for it and stuff like that, and it's all stuff that you can do. It's so good to have. And you know, there's lots of historical context surrounding World War One, and every single day of that war had something interesting going on, so surely there's just so many options on the table for them to use.
I definitely think there is, and overall, like we've said throughout the videos, that the Battle Pack system we think is fairly good. A lot of people don't quite like it, and that's understandable. Maybe some people don't like the cosmetic side of things, but you know, there are a lot of people out there who enjoy customizing their game, and the more you can give to those people to be like, right, I can collect something else, or do this, do that, it creates these little mini games within the game itself, and I think a lot of people enjoy that, and it's been shown in the past. I mean, Battlefest is coming back in November as well. That was really popular in Battlefield 4, so it's like, let's bring it back into Battlefield 1. Let's get guys doing community events and stuff. There's always something going on in Battlefield, but I think the key point is the Battle Pack system is okay, but it could be so much better.
Yeah, it's a little sort of field of potential for the game that it's such a small change, but it has such a huge impact, you know? Something as little as, you know, adding a sort of in-game currency system to be more extensive, broadening sort of challenges and horizons for the Battle Pack system would have a huge sort of general impact on the overall player base.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much for talking to me today, Lachlan. It was really good to get your opinions. And anyone who's watching, if you want to go and check out Lachlan's channel, it's down in the description. He's the Tactical Brit on YouTube. He makes some really good videos. Do you play mainly on PS4? You don't really play on PC, do you?
Best of both worlds at the moment. I'm trying to up my game on PC because I do sort of like games like Squad and occasionally Rainbow Six there, so I need to sort of get better at it. So I'm trying to flip around both platforms and keep things interesting in both places.
Well, there you go. So it shows you a slightly different viewpoint on Battlefield. He's playing a lot of PS4 and PC, and I'm PC here. So you're going to get some different opinions if you go and subscribe to his channel. But thanks very much for talking to me today, Lachlan. It's been good to chat.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're in a really good state at the moment in Battlefield where we can sort of have these positive conversations rather than talking about things that aren't quite there. We're talking about things that could get better.
Definitely. I mean, everyone loves talking about positive stuff as opposed to perhaps, I don't know, like the Battlefield 4 launch, for example.
Yeah, let's not go back there.
Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, my name's Westie, and you've been listening to The Tactical Brit as well. But I'll catch you guys in the next video.